Honestly, what even is my life? I just drove across the car park so the light was better. It's not normal behaviour. Good afternoon, evening. I think it's about 6:30. It's obviously still very much daylight, which is just as well because I've just come out of a horror film. I also look like I've just gone through a hedge backwards. What's going on here? Right, sort that out. Okay, so I have just spent the last 90 minutes having the dungarees scared off me watching Evil Dead Rise. My goodness me, what a ride that was. If you don't know already, the Evil Dead franchise has been going for quite some time. It started in 1981 when a plucky young director called Sam Raimi took a bunch of his friends to a cabin and they made a seriously low budget horror film starring Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi's mate, also starring Sam Raimi's car. I want to say it's a yellow Oldsmobile, and various other folk. In 1987 came Evil Dead 2, which was kind of a remake, and then we got Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness, and so on. And it's a real horror franchise classic. Like, people love the Evil Dead films. They're a little bit kitsch and a little bit silly, but great fun. There's some great jump scares and all that sort of stuff. So they're quite beloved in the horror community. More recently, there was a sort of a reboot, which I didn't see. I think that was 2013, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see it. I wasn't bothered. However, I decided to give this one a bash. So, prequel, sequel, reboot, requel, interquel. At this point, I don't actually care. What I've just watched is a 90-minute horror film that was really scary and loads of fun, which is pretty much all I care about. So, in terms of its connection to Sam Raimi's original Evil Dead films, basically the only connecting factor is the Book of the Dead. I don't know the Latin name for it. I thought it was called the Necronomicon, but I could be making that up. Many moons ago, I was in a relationship with someone who was not obsessed with. So he's obsessed with the Evil Dead, and the Book of the Dead makes him sound like a weirdo. He wasn't. He was lovely. But yeah, somebody I was with a very long time ago loved these films. And we used to have like a DVD version of the original that actually came in like a rubber sleeve, made it look like the Book of the Dead. We also went to New York on holiday and saw Evil Dead the Musical off Broadway, which was a huge amount of fun. So yeah, what you've got here is something that exists in the Evil Dead universe. It starts, well, on the edge of a lake. So you know you're near a cabin of sorts. There's always a cabin nearby and some evil. What's quite jarring is it's daylight and badness happens, I kid you not, in about the first 3.5 minutes. Like, it just literally goes kapow and punches you in the face with some scary stuff. So there's no warning. We don't know who the characters are. We don't know what's going on. We just know here's some people, and then bad things happen really quickly. And then title card, Evil Dead Rise, and we're in one day earlier. And the whole bulk of the story revolves around a woman called Beth coming home to see a sister and her nephew and nieces. And she thinks she's going to see her sister's husband as well, the children's father. He has gone, he's left them. She didn't know that because she's been on the road as a guitar tech. She's not really had a lot of contact with her sister. So when she gets there to the rundown little apartment in a former bank, I think they say the building was, what she finds is our brother-in-law is gone and a sister is packing up to go because they're being evicted. The building's been condemned. There's an earthquake quite early doors, which really reveals a hole in the ground, and the eldest child, Danny, I'm going to put it about 17, climbs down the hole. Of course he does, in the parking lot underneath the building, and he finds what's obviously a bank vault, and in the bank vault, guess what? Why, it's only the Book of the Dead. And his sister Bridget says he should put it back or leave it there, but of course he doesn't listen. He takes it up to the apartment and, well, all hell breaks loose, obviously. And that's it for the bulk of the film. It is just full on fight for your life. I don't want to say zombie because they're not zombies, but it's just like full on risen dead apocalypse, every man and woman for themselves, and it's quite relentless. Like, it just never lets up. And what I love is that these things, once they become whatever the evil is, there is literally no stopping them. They are completely relentless. At one point, one of the characters who's been taken over, the mother of the children, I don't think that's too much of a spoiler because the poster is literally the mother cuddling her children. So Beth's sister Ellie is got first by whatever the evil is, and they manage to get her out of the apartment. She's trying to get back in, and you can hear this relentless banging, and then it cuts to the corridor. She's not banging on the door, not with her fist anyway, she's just using her head. She's literally just banging her head off the door. So it is about the 3 children and their Auntie Beth trying to survive because of the earthquake. Obviously they can't use the lift and or the elevator, and then when they go for the stairs are out as well. So they're trapped. So even though it's set in an apartment and not in a cabin in the woods, you've still got that nature of, we're stuck, we can't get out, we can't get to the car, we can't get to safety and freedom. And like I say, it just doesn't let up. It is so incredibly gory, like no holds barred. Have some fake blood, do you know what, actually have some more, and while we're at it, he has another 4 gallons. Like, it's just relentlessly gory. There's a cheese grater to the back of the leg scene, there's knives, stabby. At one point a character vomits quite considerably, and honestly I was sitting there gagging watching it, but it was so over the top that it actually just made me laugh. Not because I wasn't enjoying it or I thought it was stupid, just like when it gets to that level of gore and violence, it almost ceases to be upsetting because it just becomes funny. I don't know how weird that makes me sound, but it was great fun. Minimal, like, as I say, it doesn't have a huge amount in common with the original apart from Reanimated Dead, Book of the Dead, badness. But I like that it was contained, as I say, in an apartment block, that they had no escape. I like that it was minimal characters. There's really probably about, I mean, the principal cast is the 3 children, the mother, Ellie, and then Auntie Beth. There's a few other peripheral characters, but really, that's it. And what's brilliant is because it opens with different characters at the cabin and badness, then the film starts proper and we go one day earlier, we've got completely different characters, we're in a completely different location. So all the while I'm thinking, how does this relate to the people that we saw at the beginning of the film? And obviously it is revealed right at the end, but it was great fun. Great fun. 90 minutes, no waiting, no holding back, and I really enjoy, like, there's a lot of effects in it, obviously. I really enjoy when they do weird, it's not quite body horror, so I'm not talking things like Cronenberg's The Fly and Chestbusters from Alien, but when people move in a really unnatural way, and once the people are possessed and sort of taken over, there's a lot of crawling, and it's simple things like the mother comes out of the bath and she puts her fingers on the edge of the bath, but it's like one at a time, and you can just see her broken fingernails, and a lot about the way they move and the way they look, and obviously the mother, the demon that's inside the mother, can switch back and forward from sounding like a demon and sounding like the children's mother, playing on the youngest child who's probably only about 8, Cassie, and trying to get her to sort of let her back in and so forth. So it was a right rump. Loads of jump scares, loads of gore. It's not got quite the humour that a Raimi one would have, and what it doesn't have is Bruce Campbell, and everything is slightly better off with a bit of Bruce Campbell thrown into it, I feel personally. But it's a cracking little romp. If you like a horror, no messing about, and you're okay with a boatload of gore, check it out. Had a lovely time. I'm gonna go home now. Really glad it's daylight. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Katie out.